Okay, once again, welcome everyone for the free Splunk Admin Bootcamp. This is part two, and just a heads up: if you are joining newly, this is your first time, so the part one was already done last week itself. Part two was supposed to be happening on the same day, but as there was too much content, we split and we are conducting part two today. And hopefully, we will complete everything in this part two itself. And if you're not able to complete the planned agenda because of the interactions, we might have a part three as well. Okay, so the boot camp is, because this is the first time we are conducting this boot camp as a at a stretch, so there might be a split on the content. So let's see how it goes. So let's not hurry on the topics, let's focus on the understanding. So if you want to watch the previous session recording, it's there in the portal as well, the portal where you joined, right? In the same portal on the left hand side, if you see, maybe I will show you the portal itself. So this portal, so now portal, you go to free Splunk Admin Bootcamp, and here you see there is a slot one, session one recording. You can click on this recording and you can watch the previous session recordings here. And this current session recording will be visible here. So currently it is not visible, but once the session is done, the recording will be visible. And part three, all the recordings will be visible here itself. Okay, you can just access the portal URL itself, so everything will be there. And if you want to get the latest update, you can join this WhatsApp group. So the same WhatsApp group what I put the message. If you're not in that WhatsApp group, click on this link and it will take you through the WhatsApp group and you can join. And this bootcamp is going to happen every month, like repeatedly it is going to happen. So of course there might be a new content with a new Splunk version and all. So this is the overview. So we are on the part two as in yeah, so this was the content. This was the original content we thought of covering in a single session, but in the part one we were discussing about like how Splunk market is doing. Is Splunk is doing really well? Is there a future for Splunk? Why Cisco bought Splunk? These kind of like some market related information we discussed. That was part one. In part two, today we are going to see how to create EC2 instance in AWS, because many people ask like we are not able to create something blah blah blah, and how to install Splunk in an EC2 instance, right? Let's say you created EC2 instance, how to install. There are steps. It's not like just simply extract a tar package. No, yeah, for lab environment you can do it, but when it comes to the production environment, there are multiple steps, multiple checks you need to do. What are all the production level installation checks you need to do, that we will discuss today. And hopefully we will be able to cover like the data onboarding as well today. Within 1 hour, I'm not sure how much we can cover, but still, and we will understand the architecture basics. Many people ask like, what is the difference between search shared, indexer, forwarder, and intermediate forwarder, and why do we even have them? So this is the architecture basic. Yeah, of course you can learn cluster admin, system admin, data admin and all, but at the core, why we have three components, that is what we are going to discuss. And if there is an app or on the phases in data pipeline, all these things we will discuss today. Okay, if my understanding is correct, we will be able to complete till here. The data onboarding might be split into the part three, but let's see how it goes. Any questions on this agenda? Or anybody wants to add anything? Okay, thank you for the confirmation. So now let's start the first step. So AWS free tier account. See, for the people who don't know what is AWS, it's a cloud provider. So you can create an account in AWS, and you can provision servers, like you can create servers in AWS. Most of the companies, right? Most of the companies are using AWS as a hosting platform. Some companies use like Azure, GCP as well, but AWS is widely used. That's why we picked AWS, and we were also using this one. That's the reason. But if you are planning to learn in Azure or GCP, you're welcome. But if you are the first time, if you are creating a cloud account, I would suggest you to go ahead with AWS. That it will be added advantage to your profile. So, and recently excuse me, recent days, AWS changed the free tier methodology. Earlier, how it was is, if you create an account in AWS, For 12 months you will have a free tier access, meaning it's not completely free. There are some servers, only few servers which are free, T2 micro, which are small servers are free. But now AWS changed the way they are giving AWS free tier. Okay, if I just explain, this is only for the people who are creating freshly, first time when you're creating AWS, it applicable for you. If you already created AWS a free tier account, I can't help you. I mean, you need to have a fresh mobile number, email ID, different account, and I don't know, whatever. Everything is new completely. If you have everything new, if this is the first time, then now AWS came up with a $200 credits. Earlier, it was not the case. Earlier, it was like you pay for what you are using, right? But now they came up with the $200 credits. First, you gain $100 credits at a sign up, and up to 100% more you earn. Like whenever you are using, right, that time you will get additional $100, right? But $100 is enough. Okay, $100 is enough for you to learn if you use it wisely. So create AWS account. This is something completely free. I think, of course, you need to give your bank account details or PAN card. I don't know, like what are the other things they are asking. I don't remember. But yeah, you need to give, and that will help you to create an account. It's simple. It's not paid one. It's just like I think they will detect 1 rupee for account verification. I believe. So that is the only thing, and it's up to 6 months valid. So you can create this one. If you don't have one, create it with your personal mail ID. Don't create it with your company mail ID, because they will think it is a corporate account, and there is a many other promotions you will get. Try to use it with the your personal mail ID. So once you have your AWS account, right, so you will log in. Again, I have my own AWS account. Let me log in. Yeah. So once you log in, you need to select the region actually. So whatever the region you are belongs to, maybe if you're from United States, like you can select the US, and if you're from Asia Pacific, you can select whichever region near to you. Let's say I'm going with maybe a Singapore region. Yeah, I can go ahead for the Mumbai, but I'm comfortable with Singapore region. So but yeah, it doesn't matter. But try to select the region whichever nearer to you. So just to reduce it, and depending on cost also. So each region it comes with a different cost. So if you're more concerned about cost, so select the one which is having a lowest cost. Okay. In our research, we found out that North Virginia servers are little bit on the lower side. I mean, not like completely lower, but when you compare other pricings, North Virginia servers are less pricey, just at least 5%, 6%, something like that. I mean, I'm not counting, I'm not giving the exact number. I'm just telling North Virginia servers are little bit less pricey. Okay, good. So in Singapore region, oh, we have already servers. Let me go for maybe a Mumbai region. So in your account for the fresh account, there won't be any servers. Okay. Yes, customers. Okay, anyways, I'll use this environment. So once you open this EC2 page, click on launch instances, and you can select any machine, like any OS, whichever you are comfortable. I mean, I'm comfortable with Red Hat, so I'm selecting this one. So yeah, you can go for Ubuntu or you can go for Amazon Linux. It's end of the day, it's just OS, but everything underlying servers are going to be same. So the OS like Red Hat 10, Red Hat 9, I mean, recently Red Hat 10, right? So you can just select the Red Hat 10. So you can keep it. Or if you want to go ahead with the Red Hat 9, yeah, you can go ahead with Red Hat 9 as well. So just click on confirm changes and remaining and all. And instance type, so I would suggest you go for T3 medium. Okay. So why? Because it has at least 2 virtual CPU core, 4 gigs of RAM. Splunk is expecting more than this. Like Splunk minimum hardware, minimum reference hardware is bigger than this. What is it? So if I go for Splunk reference hardware, so reference hardware, if I scroll down, yeah, you see, it is asking 12 physical CPU core and 24 virtual CPU core and 12 gigs of RAM. So this is the minimum hardware they are asking for single standalone instance, right? But for your lab environment, don't worry about it. You can just go ahead with this one. This is working, but yeah, sometimes it is slow, sometimes it is stuck. But from the cost point of view, because it's your lab environment, right, you need to be careful with your cost. So try to select the minimum one. So don't choose T2 micro, T3 micro. Many people did this mistake. They think like, they said like, hey, T3 micro is free. You see, like the T2 micro or T2 micro is T3 micro, these are free. Let me go ahead with that one. Splunk won't even run. You can only install Splunk, you can't even start the Splunk. We tried it. So don't go with a T2 micro. Minimum you go for T3 medium or T2 medium. Okay, this is the minimum. Beyond, above this, if you want to go, yeah, you can select any server, but minimum requirement is T3 medium for your lab environment. But if you're going for your company production environment, go ahead with this specification: 12 CPU core, and I think that is something. 12 CPU core is C4 5x large, I believe. C4 4x, yeah, C4 4x large. So this are C5 4x large, I believe. C5 4x large. Yeah. So this is the one which Splunk company is suggesting. You will ask, Murugan, I don't trust you. How do I believe you? Okay, I understand. So there is a document, Splunk company itself, they themselves announced it. For that, you can just say Splunk Enterprise Deployment on AWS. So just Google this one. So there is a Splunk documentation. You see, there is a PDF. This is coming from Splunk company itself. People are like, one suggestion: always go for the date document from the Splunk company, because they will give you the latest information. Not even with us, or not even with any other places, because they might be outdated. So that's the reason I'm helping you to take everything directly from Splunk portal itself. So that's the session. Anyways, so this is the white paper released by Splunk. Where if you are deploying, if you're installing Splunk on AWS, you can read through this one. I mean, a lot of features, something for AWS team. But what we are more concerned about is this one. You see, on the third page, when you're selecting AWS instance types, you can go ahead with this one. You see, if you are creating a Splunk server which going to handle 200 GB per day data, means you need to go for C5 4x large. If you are creating a Splunk Enterprise singles instance that is handling 300 GB of data, then you need to go for C5 9x large. So this is the suggestion from Splunk company itself. In your production, you should have minimum this one for this much data. If you are below this, you will always have a troubleshooting problem. Okay, many time in Splunk troubleshooting, right, people don't check the hardwares. If you have a proper hardware, if everything is working fine, Splunk will work fine, trust me. But if you don't have enough hardware, it will give issues like anything. It will say this is blocked, that is blocked, this is not working, that is not working. You will have to troubleshoot like many things. So after spending month of time, then you will realize it is a capacity planning issue. So always, as a Splunk admin, first make sure you have enough hardware. Okay, that is very much important, right? Now, so you selected C5 4x large, right? So now, I mean, here I'm selecting T3 medium just to save the cost for lab, right? For lab, you can go ahead with this one. It works fine. And key pair. So key pair is something you need to use when you're logging into the backend of the server, right? So click on that. Maybe you can create a new key pair. Okay, I think for you, it is a newly created account. You need to create a new key pair. So I can say maybe Murugan, or you can say whatever it is. So Murugan key, right? Or bootcamp demo, something like that. Leave other options default. Click on create key pair, and yeah, the key will get downloaded. Make sure you keep this key safe. If you lost this key, then that's it. You can't log into the backend. You need to create everything from the beginning. Okay. Now, first what we did is we selected the OS, and then we selected the server type, which is CPU and memory, and then we created a key pair for a backend access, and then the network settings. So this is where the firewall comes into picture, right? So on the firewall, you can create a new security group, or you can go for the existing security group. But for now, just create a new security group. and enable HTTPS and HTTP traffic. And then, yeah, on the storage, right? Storage, I would suggest you to keep minimum 30 GB. Minimum. Maximum is something, it depends on your requirement. But for a lab environment, keep minimum 30 GB. But in production environment, it is directly proportional to the data what you are going to ingest. Okay, good. So in short, you see at the right side, it is showing summary, right? Let me just close this. On the right side, it is showing summary. I am going to create one server, which is like a Red Hat OS and T3 medium, and the security group, I'm going to create new one. Storage is 30 GB. Okay, cross verify all these details and click on launch instance. Okay, perfect. The server is launched. Okay, you can click on this account ID, instant ID, and you will see all the server details like this. Okay, on the instances, and yeah, and you can just here and then under the name you can just give a name. This is just a, like kind of label. I'm gonna say Splunk indexer, something like that. You can give whatever you want, I mean whichever it is making sense to you. So now you see running, everything is clear. So now if you want now server is ready. Okay, server is ready, and now we can go ahead and install Splunk, right? First thing, open the port, open the necessary ports. Okay, Splunk uses, because when you install Splunk, right, you need to you need to open the UI, you need to send the data, receive the data, communication, a lot of things. So any software that is running on server, it communicates through the port, right? So Splunk is also using list of ports. You need to open the list of ports. Okay, but as in a lab environment, we can be liberal, right? So in a lab environment, select this particular instances and go to the security tab, and you see here the security, under the security group, click on the security groups, and here edit inbound rules, select the click on the edit inbound rules and add a new rule. Here open the port range 8000 to 999, I mean 9999. So because why we are giving the range is Splunk is using the ports in between this range. Okay, internal, I mean UI port, management port, a lot of ports. Okay, for now don't worry about remembering the ports, you can just Google and you can get the ports, but open this range. But in your production environment, you should not do like this. In a production environment, you need to give each and every port separately, and then you need to enable, because your team, your firewall team will ask for justification, right? And I'm going to give, I'm going to open it to the outside world, like anybody with this IP address, they can connect. I'm just keeping it for lab environment. Okay, saving the rules. So this is the first activity you should do, where you create the EC2 instance, and then in a firewall, open the ports. Any questions on this? No? Okay, thank you for the confirmation. Right, so now I can go to the backend and I can start installing the Splunk, right? I can click on this connect. Okay, I can click on this, click on the server and click on connect. I'll get this SSH key, and then I'll go to the command prompt. I have my SSH key in my downloads folder. So I'm pasting my SSH key as command, and it is asking yes. Yes, I'm logged into the server, right? So I logged into the server. Now I'm clearing the console. Yeah, so this is my server. I logged into the backend. I'm Murugan. In Linux server, T3 micro is fine or small, because in free version T3 medium is option. Yeah, exactly. That's what Sai Vignan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. T3 micro is not enough. If you use it, you can connect to the server the moment you install, because T3 micro has only one CPU core, right? If you use that, you can install Splunk, then it will become stuck. You can't even access it. So T3 medium, okay, when is it? In a free version, T3 medium option, yes, it's not free. That's what I'm saying. AWS is saying it is a free tier, but it's not free actually. Only few servers are free. That is very minimal. So you have to pay for that service. So that is the reason now they came with the $200 credits. So don't worry. If you create a new AWS account, you will have $200 credits. your charges will be deducted from there. Even if it is expired, right? Even the $200 credit, $200 credit is completed, your servers will be terminated automatically. Don't worry about it actually. Okay. But yeah, T3 micro version servers are not sufficient. At least go for medium. Okay, good. And yeah, one more point. So in one more point about like creating the servers, like don't leave the servers running continuously. I mean, many people got like around 50,000, 40,000 bills on their accounts and the free tier accounts. So be careful when you're provisioning the servers. If you're not using it, turn it off. How to turn it off? You can just go for this instance state, just stop with the instance or terminate the instance. Okay, good. Okay, so coming back to this one, can we log into the server through public IP like SSH root IP address? Yes, you can do that. So you can just do that through public IP. So instead of keeping this public DNS, right? Public DNS, you can just use IP address. That is also possible. I'll show you that. Just use CD downloads. So here, if I take the public IP, that's public IP address. Yeah, see, this is how it is. It'll get logged in. Okay. Cool. So now we logged in. So we went inside the server. What's next? Okay. The next part is we need to install Splunk, right? To install Splunk, where can you go and check the documentation? Yes, we have documentation. It will be added here. One second, I don't know why it is not visible. Okay, anyways, let me open my internal documentation, and then after this session you will find the documentation just below this one. Okay, we will add it there, but now let me open the documentation. Yeah, so we created a Linux installation. Yeah, pre-installation. So these are all the installation steps. So as we said, so we need to do some pre-installation checks and installation and post-installation. What is meant by pre-installation checks? Why are you doing that? Okay, let's assume a scenario, right? In your company, you are a Splunk admin. You planned everything. You joined the project. You planned everything. You don't have access to AWS console, right? In your company, you need to ask your infra team or AWS team to get the servers. When you're asking the servers, when you're asking your AWS team, you need to say, you will say like, hey, I need 5 servers, 6 servers. Each server should have this CPU, this much RAM, this much disk, this much, these ports open, everything. Because whatever I did now, they will create it and they will give it to you in your company, corporate environment. So again, everyone is human, right? So we make mistake. So even though their AWS team is giving you the servers or your client is giving you the servers, right? Always you have to validate. Without validating whether it is having a right resources, never install Splunk. If you install Splunk without validating the server's requirement, I mean server hardware and all, after you complete everything, then you will realize, oh, the CPU is not enough. Then it's complete waste of time. Okay. In a production, before you install Splunk, do all these validation. Okay. So if I scroll down, so pre-installation checks. Yeah. So this is where pre-installation checks you can find out. We will add that one. Yeah. In the page, I mean in the website you will have. So first thing is whether it is having a right OS operating system. How do you check? In Linux, cat etc OS release. So this command will give you, this is RHEL. Okay. So yeah, I have, because I selected RHEL right there in the, when I'm creating AWS account, I selected RHEL. You have to cross verify and make sure this is the right OS. Okay. Next one is you need to check the disk partition. Okay. df-kh. So this is command will give you the disk partition, the mounts, different mounts attached to this particular server. So you can check what was the what is the hard disk storage. You see 29 GB, which is 30 GB I specified over there, right? So my root volume is having 30 GB of storage, which I gave, and it is reflecting perfect, right? And also check like in your client server side. So you might ask them to create a OPT Splunk folder because you might not have a root access, right? So you will ask them to create a OPT Splunk folder. So check how to check the folder is present or not. Maybe you can do a cd opt Splunk, and you see the folder is, the file or directory is not exist, right? So you note down, you need to ask your client to create this OPT Splunk folder. And yeah, if the folder is there, then you can go ahead with the df-ks, but the folder is not there. So now I'm checking whether it has a right cpu or not, right? So ls cpu, this command, yeah, you see it gives a lot of information. So in this one you can go and you can check under cpus, you can see two virtual cpu, right? We, when we were creating the servers, it gave we gave two. Now it is reflecting, so cpu is fine. So I validated the os, disk, and cpu. Now what is next? I need to check the memory, ram, right? How much ram it has. So you can go check free hyphen h. So this is the ram, free hyphen h. So in this, RAM is 4 GB, right? See, 3.5 gigs. Yeah, I mean, if we give 4 GB, it will be like that only. So 3.5 GB of RAM, which is 4 GB of RAM. That is what I gave. Good. And I need to check if the Splunk user is created. Like you are asking your AWS team to give the servers with the Splunk user created. So how do you check if the user is created or not? So you go copy paste this command, and you see it says no such user. So you can say, hey, Splunk user is not created, or you can use this command ls logins, and it will also give you, I mean, it will give you different information. But if there is no Splunk user, it will show like this. Okay. And you need to check if the opt directory has any other directory. Like inside opt directory, is there any other directories? No, it's not there, it's empty. Opt directory is empty, the root volume is empty. Clear. Now you checked everything, and in this one, if you find any mismatch, you need to go back to your AWS team or infra team to fix your servers before you install Splunk. Okay. Now what they will do, like let's say from your AWS team side, you got one buddy and he's saying, hey man, you tell me what I should do, what are the things I should implement in this server before you install Splunk. So you should be in a position to answer, right? You should be in a position to tell them, do this, do that, do this, do that. At least they are ready to do, but you need to tell what they need to do, right? So that is something we already documented here. So these are all the pre-installation commands they need to do it. Like as a root user, you need to have, so first you need to log in as a root user, yum install nettools, ntpstat, duplicate. So these are all the packages which will be helpful for you to install Splunk, right? Without root user access, you can't, install these packages. So you ask your root user to install this one. So yum install nettools. So nettools will check the traffics, like ports, server level firewalls are there, right? If you have a nettools in Red Hat Linux, it will be easy for you to check all the network connectivity related things. So let it install. This should be done by your infra team, okay, not you, because you won't have access to it. If you have access to it, that is great. Okay, yeah, it's asking yes or no. Yes, good. And I'm going to install ntpstat. So ntpstat, yeah, network transfer protocol. This is also important one. If your servers are not having ntp protocol enabled, you will end up in a lot of problems with the timestamps. Okay, so make sure your servers are synced with the network time protocol, I mean with the ntp server. That is important. I mean, if you're not sure about what is ntp, I put it in the chat. I will explain maybe in the next session or something, or you can just simply google. And ntp status, like ntp protocol is used worldwide irrespective of what tool. It's a time synchronization protocol. It is very good, please have a read. So I'm installing wget. So wget is a package downloader. So if you have any package on the internet, it will be easy for you to download using wget. Okay, so now I installed all these three things, and then I need to set the host name. You see the host name here, it's just having an IP address, right? I'm not able to understand whether which server is this one. So now let's say I'm calling this as an indexer, right? I should change this server name so that it will be easy. So for to change the host name, so I can copy this command, host name ctl set host name. Then I can say, yeah, indexer. You can say whatever you want, okay? And if you want to check whether it is reflecting or not, you can just exit from the sudo user, root user, and then login. You see now it says root indexer. Sorry guys, it's going at the bottom. Please, I don't know how to bring it back. Like yeah, if I hit enter, it will come, but it's not coming. Anyways, okay, my R. Maybe I can just shrink this, something like this. It'll be good. Yeah. So now, and after this, yeah, once the host name is changed, then they need to create a Splunk user and directory. Okay, user add Splunk, and this will create the user. Group add Splunk, this will create the group. It says group Splunk already exists. That's fine. Like don't worry about it, because when we are creating a Splunk user, the group gets created automatically, and they need to create a opt Splunk directory. For that, they can use a make their mkdir opt Splunk, which is good. And then the folder is created by the root user, right? But the ownership need to be changed to Splunk user, because this directory should be owned by Splunk user, right? So now you need to change the ownership with this command. Yeah. How do you verify this opt Splunk folder is now the ownership of the opt Splunk folder is changed to Splunk user? Simply use ll opt. Okay, now you see this is the Splunk folder. For that, Splunk is the user, Splunk group is assigned. So this is how you can verify, right? And now you need to disable the THP, transparent huge pages. Anybody has an idea about transparent huge pages, THP in Linux? Why are we disabling it when we are installing Splunk? Any idea?
To avoid memory issues.
Exactly. So transparent huge pages are a memory management system. I mean, I'm simplifying. I'm telling in a much simpler way. So THP is a memory management system in Linux. So what it does is it restricts softwares to use a certain amount of memory. So it's like in this Linux, right? I have 4 GB of memory. I'm installing only Splunk, right? Do you think Splunk will be able to utilize the complete 4 GB memory? No. Why? Because the THP will restrict Splunk to, hey, you're not the only one or who are the other. There may be some other software. I will give you only a certain amount of memory. So it's like blocking the software from utilizing the complete hardware, right? So that is the reason we are disabling THP. In your client side or in your AWS team, maybe they may not be comfortable with this one. They'll say, no, how can you disable THP? THP is very good, blah, 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 they will say. So that time you need to prove them, no, Splunk needs THP to disable. But they won't trust you, because you might say anything. How can you prove them? So you need to go to the Splunk documentation. You need to show them, hey, Splunk is asking, because if you show Soft Mania documentation, they will say, what is this? They won't trust. So you need to open Splunk documentation, Splunk installation prerequisite. Okay, just open it. You see system requirements, right? You can click on that documentation, and yeah, I hope this is the right page. Yeah, a lot of things. I mean, yeah, see, ulimit. So we need to increase the ulimit, and THP disabling, right? Yeah, you see transparent huge memory pages for Splunk performance. You click on this one. Yeah, so this is the page explains why the THP transparent huge memory pages need to be disabled. Okay, you can take this. Of course, you won't understand, because I won't understand. Like a Linux team, they will understand. And you highlight this word. Splunk has observed a minimum of 30% of degradation in indexing and search performance on Linux systems where THP is active. You just highlight this sentence and you drop an email to your AWS team. Then it is their call whether to turn off it or not, because your management team need to know, right? Because tomorrow they will come and say, hey, why Splunk is slow? You say THP is active, man. What can I do? So you can. I'll put this link in the chat. Right, so this is the reason you need to disable THP. So now let's, okay, now somehow you convince them that THP need to be disabled. How can you disable it? So this is how you can disable it. Yeah. So excuse me. If it is Red Hat 9.4 or lower version, you can follow these steps. Okay. If it is Red Hat 9.6 or above version, you can follow this one. Okay. So as this is the Red Hat 9.6, I'm going to use this version. Okay. So you can just how to check whether THP is enabled. That is a good question. Yeah. So you see there is a command just below this one. So you can copy this, like, and you execute this command. You see it shows a response, right? In this one there are 3 different keywords. So always, advice, never, right? So this bracket, the square bracket is over the always, which means the THP is enabled. And if I execute the next one, to be frank, don't ask me what is defrag. I don't know. Okay. I just know how to check the THP. I mean, I'm not the Linux guy. But yeah, so here also it's not an, if the never is out of the bracket, which means THP is enabled. Okay. So now we are going to disable it. How can you disable it? You can, no problem. Thank you, Nishal. So now you can copy this script and you can just paste it. And don't worry about it. What isn't it? Just paste it, enter. Oh, sorry, this is not working. So just copy like this and paste it. Yeah, you won't find any no, response. And once you copy, once you create, basically we are creating a disabled script. Okay, if you are a Linux guy, you will know what is it. But if you're non-Linux guy like me, you don't know what is this. Don't worry about it. Okay, it's a proven command. So you just, anyways, you are going to give this one to your Linux team. They will do it, so they will know what is this command. And you just reload this daemon using these commands. And now you're enabling the script. Here we are enabling the disable script. Okay, don't get confused. Yeah, so now it is disabled. Now I need to reboot the server. So this server, so just you can just give a reboot command. So it gets disconnected. The server reboot is happening. Okay, so it might take few seconds. Okay, it's already 10. So I don't think we can complete the content today. We might have to split this one. Anyways, but that's fine. Okay, it's done. So if I try to connect again, so let me refresh and take the SSH command and then paste it here. Yeah. Okay, it's rebooted. So now let me clear the screen. What is the message? Yeah. So again, I need to verify if the THP is disabled, because earlier it was not disabled. Now I activated the script. Now it should be disabled. So after the reboot completes, you go to the root user, again execute this command. You see now the bracket is on top of never, which means THP is disabled, right? And the same you check with defrag 1. Yeah, now here never is inside the bracket, which means THP is disabled. Make sure this is validated before you install Splunk. I'm again and again highlighting, else on the troubleshooting you will face a lot of problems. Okay, next one is ulimits. Okay, what is ulimit? THP is memory management. What is ulimit? Any idea?
Page limit, it's related to number of pages.
Number of pages meaning?
The dump, when it generates on so many, it screen will go, one screen is like one page. Like that limit, if it generates more data then the limit, if doesn't match, then the dump will be only half, partially we will get that.
So because of that, what problem we will face in Splunk?
Problem. Yeah, question hand over to you, answer also hand over to
Okay, that is good. So I mean, in an oversimplified manner, right? So every system, every server, every OS, every software, everything has a limit, right? It's not like unlimited, right? So in OS, right? So when you Splunk, what Splunk is doing, it's just getting the data, it's processing something, it is doing something, right? So by default on the Linux side, there will be limit. So ulimit, you can consider user limit. Just you can think of like, it's not exactly user limit, like user limit, right? So what user limit? So users can open at a time, they can open only this much files. At a time, they can click only this much button. So like that, there are certain limits. Splunk needs higher limit than the default limit. Okay. If you want to understand what is ulimit, let me give you the document. The same document, I mean, same Splunk documentation. So here, if you scroll down, here they explained everything. This document is very much important, guys. Yeah. So this story, you can read through it. To be frank, I read it, I forgot it, I read it, I forgot it. So I stopped reading this one. So I just took the I just take the values and I apply it. Okay. So this is the document. Okay, I think I need to keep the documents in the bootcamp WhatsApp as well. Let me keep that. So this is the one for THP and this is the one for ulimit. Please read through this document, people. It's very good document. And when you're fighting with your client team or AWS team, this, if you say all these things, they will be amazed. Good. So in one liner, so we need to increase the U limits. The limits, you can take it from here, like 64,000, 16,000, 8. Is it 8 lakh or 80 lakh? I don't know. So this number you can take, and yeah, open file, like how many files can be opened at a time. Splunk on the back end, it is storing the configuration files, right? Configuration files, Python file. So when Splunk is running, it will open multiple files and it will read and write and everything, right? How many files can be opened at a time? So that is what the open files. And the user processor. So user, like Splunk user, right? It is triggering. The saved search will run read and write operation. So how many processes can run at a time? So that is what user processes, 16,000. Data segment size. What is data segment size? Splunk is a data processing tool, right? When the data is coming and flowing out in and out, so data flows in segments, and the bucket gets when bucket is replicating data segments, right? Everything is data. So Splunk, when it is moving, how much the OS level, how much RAM should be allocated? So how much RAM should be allocated? That is depends. Maximum RAM you want to allocate, but here it is 8 GB. In your production, you can allocate 16 GB. I mean, if it is a greater environment and all, but minimum 8 GB is recommended, right? And yeah, file size infinite. I don't know why they kept infinite. Just go with infinite. And task maximum, I don't know what is this. Go ahead with this number, but only I know only these properties. But remaining properties, if whether you know or not, you have to follow this one. Okay. And yeah, system-wide resources, these and all, leave it to your Linux team. And only thing is, you show them all this. This is what the configuration you want. They will know what to do. Don't worry if you don't understand all these values. Okay, good. So now I'll show you how to do that from your Linux team point of view. Let's say you have given. So what they will do is they will open this limits.conf file. Okay, and they will scroll down. And they will come to the end of the file and they will insert the values copied from here. Copy and yes, yeah, paste it, save the file. What else? We need to reboot the servers, right? So simply reboot. Again, reboot is going to take time. I don't know. Sometimes it takes a minute. Sometimes it will be 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, I logged in. So now if I want to validate, right, again, I can go to sudo root user and I can check the ulimit. Yeah, here I can check the size, data segment size. It is this 80 lakhs or something. And yeah, so the open file. So these numbers, you should compare it with the documentation specified in the, the value specified in the documentation, right? And now that's it. So these are all the list of things need to be done before you install Splunk in your production environment. Okay. Only when you check again, like once they implement it, you can use the pre-installation checks, you can just everything, and then you can start installing the Splunk, right? Also, like here, I the port validation you need to validate. Splunk is going to use multiple ports, right? 8000, 8001, 8000, 80888, 8089. So these are all the list of ports you need to check. You see netstat command. You remember we installed the net tools, right? So now you can use this netstat command to check. See here, I'm not getting any response, meaning these ports are not used. If any port is used by any other software, it will be visible here. But now it is not visible, which means these ports are not used by any other software, which is good thing, right? One second. Sorry, I just got one message. Okay, fine. So now I validated the ports. Nothing is utilized by other processor. So I'm also validating this Splunk. Yes, sorry, this SS command. So this also gives nothing. So meaning these ports are not used. So I'm happy with the port side. Server level port side. Server level firewall is not blocking, or it's not, server level applications are not using these ports, right? And yeah, THP we checked it. ulimit we checked it. And NTP sync, you need to check the NTP sync status. So for that, you can type NTP stat. NTP stat. You see, it says synchronized to NTP server, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is how it should be. If you don't have this, if it says unsynchronized, non-synchronized, ask your Linux team to make it synchronized. Okay. If the ports are used, then we need to stop them. Yes. If the ports are used by some other softwares, some other application, either you need to stop that as application. If that application is not stopped, you need to change the port in that application, or you in Splunk we need to use a different ports. So these are all the standard ports. If these ports are not used by some other application which is critical, which you cannot change, then in Splunk, when you are installing Splunk, you need to use a different port. Clear? Okay, good. Thank you. So yeah, NTP stat. So all these things are done. Now this concludes the pre-installation checks. Any questions on the pre-installation checks? Pre-installation. Now I can qualify this server is ready to get Splunk installed. Okay, good. So now Splunk installation is a very straightforward thing. Don't worry about it. It's very easy steps. And yeah, you will get the steps. So now log into Splunk. Okay, switch to Splunk user. Let me clear the screen and go to the home directory, home path, like /home/Splunk. So this is the path of the Splunk user. Here I am going to download the Splunk package, the using wget. Where can you find this link? So now I gave the link here for 9.4.0 version. Let's say you want to get a wget link, where you can go. So you can go to the splunk.com website. And log in. Log in with your Splunk account. Go to trials and downloads. Varsha, my voice is audible, right? Okay, thanks. Okay, good. Click on trials and downloads. Hey, what's happening? Okay, I'm already in that page. Okay, they changed this website. Okay, good. So scroll down and you see here we have a under the platform we have a Splunk Enterprise. Click on the start trial. And yeah, here you will see the latest version of the Splunk available for download. You can click on the Linux version, and then you can select the wget, and you see wget command. Let's say you don't want to install the latest version because you fear, right, it might not be stable. If you want to go for the previous versions, you can see here previous releases. Click on that and scroll down, go to the Linux tab, and yeah, you see here all the previous versions are available. Let's say you want to go for 9.4.0, right? You can get the wget link here. What is it? Which is with the indexer and forwarder. Meaning, which is with indexer forwarder means? Okay, which package includes indexer and forwarder? Okay, actually, for searched in, yeah, install package, right? So searched, indexer, all other components, you need to download only this Splunk enterprise package. Universal forwarder is a separate package. The universal forwarder package is separate. We will come to that later. Don't worry. Okay. For now, just download this Splunk enterprise package. It's only one package. It includes indexer, searched, heavy forwarder. Everything is in the same package. Only universal forwarder is in a separate package. Okay. So now I can take this wget link, can go to the command, yeah, command prompt. Here I'll just paste this wget and it gets downloaded, right? It's getting downloaded. It's 1 gig of file, huh? You guys feeling sleepy? No?
No.
I thought you slept, Nishal. You're still...
Oh, my timing will be around 1 o'clock night too.
Oh, you're working on night shift, huh?
Yeah.
Right. No, it's not. It's not like only TGZ has to be used. You can use, RPM, Debian packages and all. That will save you a lot of time. But my preference is on TGC because it gives you everything under your control. You are doing each and every steps, so you are in control. RPM and Debian ones, it automates all the process. So it's my preference. You can use anything. Okay. Right now I downloaded the package. So if I do ll, yeah, I have the package now. So now we need to extract this. It's a tar package, right? TGC package. We can just extract. So can just copy paste this. So it's getting extracted. Don't forget the end command. Like at the end, you need to put -C and /opt. That is the important one because by default, it will get extracted on the place where you are executing this command. So you need to tell this tar command, hey, extract this file and put it on the opt folder. Okay, /opt folder. Now let it extract completely. It's a 1 GB file now. It will take this much time. Okay, it's done. Cool. So now after this, I need to navigate to opt Splunk bin folder. Okay, yeah, I'm in this present work directory. Let me just clear it. So I'm in this directory /opt/splunk/bin, and here I need to execute Splunk start accept license. This is the command, right? And it is asking me administrator username. Actually, it is asking you to create a username. So I will just say simple admin, and the password, you can just give any password which you want. So I'm just re-entering the password. So now, yeah, Splunk installation is done. That's it. So you see, Splunk installation is very simple. Only the pre-installation checks are going to take time. If you have everything is clear, Splunk installation is, even if you use RPM and Debian package, it's 1 or 2 liner only. But I prefer targc file, so it's just having few more steps. That's it. Simply what is there here, you're just downloading the wget and you're extracting, you're starting it. That's it. You see, Splunk indexer is up. If you see this message, it means your indexer is up. You can go to your console, you can take the public IP address of this and open a new tab, :8000. 8000 is the UI port, the Splunk UI port. There you go. So you have Splunk installed here. It's working. Any questions on this? No? Clear? Good. Okay, so now Splunk is installed. All clear? Is it done? No. We just install. There is some post-installation activity we need to do, right? Pre-installation like that, post-installation also there. So what is that? Click on the post-installation. I mean, this is something a check as well as confirmation, right? So we need to make sure that it got installed correctly or not, right? So once the UI is done, so now you can change the server name of the product, not the server. So now the Splunk is installed, right? This Splunk software server name, host name, you can change. Before that, you need to check like what server name is set up, right? So let me clear. So if you execute this command, it will ask you username and password, the username which we created right now, admin, and the password. You see, it says server name indexer. Yes, because I gave this host name on the server level. I gave the host name. It took and it kept as a server name. If I want to change it, I can just change it using this one. And like I can use this command. It is opt splunk bin splunk set server name. Let's say if I want to set indexer if I want to set SPL indexer, something like that, I can just change it. I can just hit enter. It will set up. Okay. But now I'm not going to change it. And you can check the default host name. People, like, if you don't understand what is server name and host name, don't worry. This is part of ritual. You just do this. We will see, like, in the future, like maybe in the future, in the next session, I'll show you where this is important. Okay. For now, just understand how to check it, how to change it. You see, default host name for the data inputs is indexer. Yeah, this is also similar to the host name, which is clear. And then we need to check the porting. We saw, right? We need to Splunk uses multiple ports, so you need to check each and every port. First, you need to check the web port. So this is 8000, which is clear, which is a default one. And what is the Splunk D port? It's a management port. It's a 8089, fine. And what is the KV store port? And it is 8191, which is clear. And what is app server port? Which is 8065. Yeah, these are all the default ones, right? And you need to check if the boot start is enabled or not. What is boot start?
When we restart the system, it will automatically start the Linux server service also. Sorry, Splunk service also, like in Windows.
Exactly. So in Linux, like Linux gets restarted, Splunk also should be restarted as soon as the server is started. So now at this point of time, I just installed Splunk. Linux doesn't know that Splunk need to be restarted whenever it comes back, right? So that configuration is pending. That is the post installation. We need to do it. Auto start of Splunk service. That is correct. Yeah. So now to make the Splunk service auto start, earlier versions, it was very straightforward. Okay. You just, if you want to check if the boot start is enabled, you can follow this command. You can use this command. It will say either you need to use a init script or you need to use a system D scripts, right? So it will, in this place, it will say, you see, file is not installed, file is not installed, which means the boot start is not enabled, right? Now, if you want to enable the boot start, what you can do? Yeah, if it is RHEL 9.4 or below, you can follow the steps. If it is not RHEL 9.6 and above, you can use these steps. So this is RHEL 6.9.6, and I'm going to use the below steps, right? So as a root user, I'm going to execute this command. So this is the script. Again, if you're not a Linux admin, don't worry. I know how it feels. But try to understand. If you give this script to ChatGPT, it will explain. I don't want to explain it right now because it will be heavy. So I'm just enabling Splunk. And now you can simply start the Splunk like this, and Splunk is started. And now here onwards, you can use the system CTL command to check, start, or run the Splunk. So this is how you make the services to run on the boot start. Okay. So with this, installation is complete. So you have done the clean installation of Splunk. All these things need to be done in your production environment. Okay. Any questions on this? Okay, thank you. So we'll stop here. So as it is taking a lot of time and things, so we'll continue this one in the part three as well. Because part three will be quick because there won't be much things. It will be connecting the things, and architecture basics also we'll discuss in part three.
Hey, thank you, Morgan. Thank you,
Yeah,
Varsha. Excellent,
yeah,
excellent.
yeah. Thank you, Nishal. And any other feedback, any other inputs, or any other things you guys want to add so that we can improve in the next session?
Yeah, if possible, KV store usage. How do we use? I mean, people say we can use when there is a huge data led to key value. We need to update dynamically. Then Excel sheet won't be sufficient. But I didn't see till now people were using. I mean, I worked in 6, 7 projects, but I didn't see anywhere.
KV store.
KV store. Uh,
Yeah, actually, KV store you will use when there is a dynamic lookup. Not if human is updating KV store, you won't do it. You won't see. If humans are updating the lookups, then it will be always be CSV lookup. If the systems are updating, if the external application software is updating, then you will go for KV storage.
yeah, that is.
Yeah, it depends on that decision, not on like people simply say if it is a small, go for CSV lookup. If it is a
Yes.
big, go for KV store. No, that is
Yes,
wrong.
yes,
That
that
is wrong.
I didn't see anywhere people are using, but only in ITSA I heard. In ITSA I was
Yeah.
observed that behind the screen is everything KV store this, but even that I didn't observe.
Yeah. So only thing is like KV store comes into picture only when there is a dynamic update happens through the API and through the systematic update. CSV lookups comes only when a human is manually updating the lookups. So this is the only choice.
Okay, and you were talking about NTP, right? NTP synchronization. So how does it have impact in our Splunk environment if it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
synchronized?
Yeah. So, for example, in some companies, I mean, in some projects, indexer will be on the India, searcher will be on the different location, or the universal folder. The data source
Yes.
is in one location, the indexer is in another location.
Yeah.
So, data source is sending the data, right?
Yeah.
In the data, it will say 2 o'clock server is restarted. Okay,
Yes.
it will simply say,
Yeah.
but that data 2 o'clock means USA 2 o'clock. Okay,
Yeah.
but that data comes to India.
Yeah.
Indian indexer will think like Indian 2 o'clock the server is started. So the
Okay.
data, so it won't impact the performance. NTP synchronization will not impact the performance. It will confuse your data. So your Splunk will misinterpret your data. If it doesn't, that's the reason all your Splunk server has to be synchronized because it is sharing the data, right? The timestamps they will misinterpret. So all servers should have the same time zone. Then only when they are sharing the data, if it has a timestamp, it is taken in the correct way.
So this is needs to be enabled only in Splunk Enterprise is installed where or where universal forwarders are also
No,
present.
Splunk Enterprise, Splunk Enterprise.
Only.
Universal order the customer side, right?
Yeah.
Customer side you can't do anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
only on the Splunk side.
Okay.
See, for example, if it is your customer side, right? If your customer is sending the data, your customer base is on USA,
Yeah.
and your company servers are located in India. When
Yeah.
you are taking the customer data and putting it in India, right? You
Yeah.
need to sync this Splunk server to your customer time.
Yeah.
So that time the NTP sync will come.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so
No problem.
much.
Yeah. No problem. Any questions? Any other questions? Normally we use /Splunk, Red Hat, and Linux commands are same. Yeah. I mean, the /Splunk start, OPT Splunk start, or dollar Splunk home start, everything same. And only thing is like how you are handling it. That's it.
This session, what you explained today, no, that session, even in data administration, system administration, cluster administration, I completed all this from Splunk. They never touched these topics.
Yeah, understand.
On just PDF page, they will have synchronized NTP. No reason also.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any reason from them. And teach THP, where he has given one page on THP. In, if you see the material, they didn't explain that. But this is the first time I'm hearing why we should not. I mean, I felt very happy after
Understood.
working 6 years. I didn't see because Linux administration people never gave this chance.
Yeah. Understood.
And you are showing me all the this is how it happens behind the screen. Oh, I know only theory. Practicals I don't know.
Exactly.
Right.
Actually, like this is like a even how I learned, because it's not like beginning. Like in one of the project, like we went to the on-prem side, right? So on-prem side there is no other people, so they gave everything to us. And in some clients, it's during the small scale projects, right? They don't have Linux team, AWS team. So if you
Okay.
get that kind of project, you have to do everything by yourself. But if you're in a bigger corporate environment, you won't get access to root list. Yeah.
Oh, what's great experience. Today's session is really good.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And many people ask the same question, like, why installing Splunk takes a long time. No, actually, if you go for production, Splunk installation alone is a big process. The pre-installation checks alone. Trust me, and many admins are not doing the pre-installation checks properly. Without that, they are installing Splunk, and in the UI, it won't say the pre-installation checks and all. It will keep on say this is not enough, that is not working, that is everything boils down to this pre-installation checks. If you install it properly with a proper configuration, most of the problems will get sorted. Right, enough. I think it's time. Navin, you're asking something, you're about to ask something.
Yeah, hi Morgan.
Yeah.
Actually, I have tried to install this Splunk already, but the thing is that I have used the OS as Ubuntu, and cloud provider I have used the DigitalOcean over there. I was successfully able to install the Splunk over there, but again I have tried to install the Docker over there, and I tried to add the containers over there. So when I run that Docker logs Splunk and press enter means it is running, but anyhow, but with respect to that IP public IP address which followed with 8045 search in the web port means that Splunk was not opening actually. So
Yeah.
something
When
is
you
missing.
use a Docker, right, you need to use the networking. You need to properly fix the networking, because Docker is running inside your server. So Docker has an internal networking, right, and your server has its own networking. So when you hit an the URL from your browser, it is reaching your server, but your server is not sending that into your Docker. So you need to, and I think I don't know that there was some command I forgot, man. I'll check it and let you know. So you need to implement the networking side. If you do that, it will be fine. I'll send you that steps.
Okay.
So it's a problem with Docker. Based on your information, I can sense it is a Docker networking problem. It's not a Splunk problem. It's not a server problem. It's just a network connectivity. It's a port forwarding, you can say. We need to do the port forwarding from your server level to your Docker level.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, so if no further question, so let's stop the session today, and hopefully in the next session we'll try to complete this one at least. Let's see, without dragging further. Okay, people, have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Varsha. Thank you. Bye bye, all.